Hello everyone. Here today I want to be showing you how to be measuring the Earth's curvature. We'll be doing this in the empirical calculations to work out distances. First we'll go through the basics, then we'll go through an example, and we'll be looking at the distance of curvature, and then we'll be looking at the tilt of that curvature. Okay, starting from here, a mile is 5,280 feet. The circumference of Earth is 24,901 miles, and the radius is 9,536 miles. To get 1 arc degree of curvature, we take the 24,901 miles and divide it by 360 degrees. That gives us 69.17 miles. Rounded down. All figures have been rounded down. To get 1 minute of arc curvature, we take that 1 degree and we divide it by 60, and that will give us 1.15 miles. Likewise, with 1 arc second, we take the minute and divide it by 60, and we get 101.4 feet. The formula for working out the curvature of the Earth is 8 inches multiplied by the distance squared. It must be squared. Divided by 12 to give us feet, and that will equal our distance. So looking at the example, i.e., looking at the shoreline that is 150 miles away, goes like this. 8 multiplied by 150 squared divided by 12 equals x. 8 multiplied by 22,000 and a half divided by 12, x equals 15,000 feet. To turn that into miles, so it's easy to imagine the distance, of course we divide it by 5,280 feet, which is a mile, and x equals 2.84 miles. So something at a distance of 150 miles away should be down the curvature of 2.84 miles, below the horizon line. Of course, it's moving down like that, so it'll be right down there. That means you can't see it. It's nearly 3 miles below the curvature. Of course, therefore, a building at that distance, or any structure that's straight, should be tilted relative to the latitudinal and longitudinal angle of arc. Of course, at 2.84 miles divided by minutes of arc will give us 2 minutes and 47 seconds of arc. That should be the tilt, if we saw anything at that distance. And it should look something like this. But we do not see any curvature or tilted buildings or structures whatsoever. In fact, at 150 miles away, we can still see things like shorelines and buildings. Of course, we need telescopic sights to be able to see these things. We can't see that far with the unaided eye. But this mathematics is very, very simple. Anyone can do it. Nothing difficult about it whatsoever. This is proving that this globe Earth is not a globe. It is not a ball. It is flat. The Earth is flat, people. We have been lied to.
Carrying a flag rode from one bridge to another 6 miles away. An observer with a telescope placed 8 inches above the surface of the water found that the flag and the boat were distinctly visible throughout the entire distance. If the Earth is a sphere with a circumference of 25,000 miles, then over a distance of 6 miles, the second bridge should mathematically be 16 feet below the observer's eye line.
until I found this photo, Grandmere State Park. This is from Joshua Nowicki, and what you're seeing here is a mirage. You typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night. Conditions are right on the lake that we're actually seeing a mirage of the Chicago skyline. Very interesting. Here's what's happening. This is a good example of a superior mirage. So Joshua was on the Lake Michigan shore. He was looking towards the west, and Chicago's beyond the horizon. Should not be able to see it. However, with the right conditions, we have an inversion. We have cold air near the cold lake water and some relatively warmer air above it. This will bend the image of that skyline back towards the viewer. And so typically we would not be able to see this. This image would be viewable from much, much higher in the sky, up in space. But instead...
Now, before I proceed with the video, this is a very important point I want to replay that the meteorologist says.
The horizon should not be able to see it. However, with the right conditions, we have an inversion. We have cold air.
Okay, he just stated, because of the horizon, the curvature basically, you shouldn't be able to see the Chicago skyline. Now, taking a look at this photo provided by Joshua Nowicki, you can clearly see that this is no mirage. And I'll get into that in a little bit. I'll explain a superior mirage and how it looks like. And this is no superior mirage. Now understand, the distance from Chicago to Grandmere State Park in Stevensville, Michigan, it's 90 miles away. And they say over water it's 60 miles. Now understand one thing. With the supposed curvature of the earth and at 60 miles, that will lead you to 2,400 feet behind the supposed horizon or the curvature. So the Sears Tower, also known as Willis Tower, being at 1,700 feet to the tip, the whole tower basically should be behind the horizon or the supposed curvature of the earth. With superior mirages, the mirage is inverted, and I'm going to show some examples of that. With these photos, you can clearly see the inverted mirage. Again, more of the same. So again, when you look at this skyline, it's a complete insult for that meteorologist to call this a mirage. Nothing about this is a mirage, completely real. And also, to go along with the photo from Stevensville, Michigan, I found an additional photo from even further, a little bit further, at St. Joseph's. Found it on this blog here. You can clearly see, again, the Chicago skyline all the way across Lake Michigan. And there was a dispute as far as the distance was concerned from Chicago to Michigan City, Indiana. And I want to clarify this. It's been stated how the distance is driving miles. Now, from point A to point B across the lake, they say it's approximately 40 miles. So even if that's the case, with 40 miles, that's still over 1,000 miles, a little over 1,000 miles behind the supposed curvature. So in that case, you should only see the very tips of these few buildings over here. The lower ones shouldn't be in view at all. So clearly, again, doesn't add up with what the meteorologist is saying. This is no mirage. And take a look at some more photos here from Michigan City, Indiana, and the views of the Chicago skyline. A couple more images. And again, I point this out with the people standing on the beach. You can clearly see these are not inverted buildings. Clearly, they're there. And again, the Chicago skyline. Clearly no mirage. Again, more of the same. This is probably the best proof, or one of the best proof, supporting the flat earth theory.